Hi, I'm Jessica, and welcome back to my channel, Hero Born Stitches. Um, so I am doing this again, so I must have completely lost my mind. Uh, it has been really wonderful to see all the love and support that I've had from everybody on my last video. Um, Great, absolutely great. Anyone who does this knows how weird it feels to do this to start with, and then to get support and some affirmation that what you're doing is worthwhile is always very nice. So thank you. Um, I am hoping to do a couple things in this video that you always notice after you record and look at what's going on. The first thing is hopefully I kind of fixed the angle a little bit. I think you guys were looking up my nose half the time at the last video, so hopefully that has been corrected. I also stopped mirroring the video. I tend to, when I record videos for work or Zoom, I tend to mirror the video naturally because that's the way I look at myself in the mirror. And it always looks a little bit weird to me when I'm looking at myself, and it's not like that. So I figured, however, upon further reflection, that it made more sense to allow you to be able to see what I was doing the right way than me be vain and want to see myself the way I see myself in the mirror. So here we go. Here we go. Okay. We want to start with a few expectations like we did last time. Um, First thing is I want to do is clear up a few things that I mentioned in the last video that I don't think came across as super clear. So I want to kind of give you some more information so you know what I am talking about. I want to do a temperature stitching update. And then I want to work through all of my WIPs that are not currently temperature stitching. So it is a little bit of a WIP parade. Not a huge one. I don't know. Maybe I'm lying to myself when I tell myself that it's not that many, but it doesn't seem to me like it is too much. Um, I am trying really hard not to add to my stash, but I do have a little bit of haul that I don't know whether I'll be showing you guys all the time when I have haul, but some of these were just too good not to show you. And then I want to kind of tell you my plans for the upcoming week, maybe weeks, and then kind of give you a little bit of an update on that Stitchy Kindness project. Okay, things to clear up. First one is temperature stitching. I referenced Stewart's and Stitches and me copying his temperature stitching, but I didn't really explain that much at all. So temperature stitching is something that a number of people do to try to keep them motivated, move forward on different WIPs, which stands for works in progress, that we have going on. So what Stewart does and what I have decided to copy is he has taken his WIPs, identified 10 WIPs and numbered them from 0 to 9. And then whatever the projected high temperature is for that day, you look at the number that corresponds with that. And, it's Kansas. So we almost always are in double digits. So we always just go with the last number there. Yeah, hopefully, I know we've been seeing some triple digits. We're still going to go with the last number. As we're moving into August, I am a little bit horrified. That's when we get our hottest weather of the entire year. And I am not a hot person. I'd rather be cold than hot any day. So why I'm living in Kansas, I am not exactly sure. Yeah, so that's temperature stitching. So the idea is, and what Stewart has done, is he has kind of committed each project in his temperature stitching to 10 times coming up with temperature stitching. And every time, I'm really explaining this very poorly. Every time a number is called or it's the projected high is that last digit, you put at least 100 stitches in on the project. So kind of the goal is to leave those projects in your temperature stitching for at least 10 times. So you get 1,000 stitches on each of those projects. And then you can either trade them out if you want to, or you can substitute a new one in, whatever's good for you. Like Stuart says, you're stitching your rules, and like a couple of other people do. So I know with some of my projects, it won't even take 1,000 stitches to finish them. So that'll be nice. I can substitute something else in very quickly. With others, it's going to take longer than that. And I do not know whether I'm going to switch them out at that point or not. I will decide when I get there. So that's temperature stitching. The other thing I referenced, I'm doing the Becca thing. The other thing that I referenced that didn't really explain very well is WIPGO. WIPGO is something that is hosted by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. I will link everybody I mention in the comments below. And if I remember to do so, I'll link all the projects also, so you guys can find them easily. But Jessie Marie does stuff. She's been doing it for a number of years. I'm not really sure exactly how many years she has been doing it, but it is something, again, that people kind of use to help them set goals, move forward on their WIPs. And what it is it's a bingo board, a standard bingo board with 25 spots. And you can put a WIP in each spot, or you can put goals in each spot. There's a number of different ways to do it. And then she calls two numbers every month. And those are the projects that you either work on, the goals that you try to accomplish. And you really use WIPGO for lots of things. She has a wonderful video explaining WIPGO, which is going to do it 10 times better than I can. So I will link that below also. So when I start WIPGO, and I don't know, I could start it right now. I know I could. There's no reason that I couldn't, but I think I'm going to make it a January start. But when I do start it, I think I am going to copy what Andrew, the runner stitcher, does with his WIPGO. And again, I'll link him below. He is wonderful. And what he does is he does sort of like a random number generator, and that tells him how many stitches he needs to do on each project for that month. So I really love that idea. Yeah, so those are the two things. While I mentioned Andrew, I want to shout out to him really quickly. He is fantastic. He is hosting a stitch along that is called the Whip Into Shape stitch along. A lot of you guys have heard about it. He is training for a marathon that he is going to do at the end of August over in Sydney, Australia. And he kind of created this stitch along to help us all move our WIPs forward and support him in his marathon training. Absolutely fantastic idea. I heard about it almost right away, but I knew almost right away that there was no way I could take it on. So Andrew, love watching you, supporting you from a distance without stitching, and looking forward to everybody's updates. And so yeah, if you feel like doing that, please go watch and join. Okay, temperature stitching. Let's start here. So I think I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects that got called for temperature stitching this week. The first one I want to talk about is the kitten ornaments that got called once. This is maybe this. I'm not mirrored, so this is what it will look like. I know I'm gonna have to figure that out. So I'll post above wherever what it's going to look like when it's finished, and where it was the last time you saw it, which was my last video. So that was not too long ago. And this is where it is now. Yes, this is going to feel weird. Okay. This is where it is now. I just kind of worked on that one kitty. I just added pink stitches to it. Just added some pink in. I was thinking while I was stitching this, these are just charted horribly, just absolutely horribly. It is really hard to tell what colors you're doing where. And I don't tend to highlight or mark off my stitches when I do them, just because I don't. But this is one of those projects where I think I might benefit from that, because like these spots where you're filling in any sort of a chunk, they're not individually marked. It just kind of has like the symbol in the middle, and you're not really sure where it starts or where it stops. So really, at all points during the project, you are looking at it, and it seems like you're like, okay, I'm all done with red, done with red's done. And then, oh my gosh, just a little bit later, you'll find like one stitch that you missed or something else. So it can be really frustrating. They're cute. I do want to finish them. But yeah, so it got one day and we got to add some pink to this. So that's good. All right. The next one I wanted to talk about is Spooky and Sweet. It's a Fat Quarter Shop stitch along from, I should have looked that up last year, I think, something like that. This is what it's going to look like. Maybe I'll just switch this. I don't know. This is what it will look like when it's done and where it was last time you saw it. This got called 2 times. So I'm making, pardon my thread there. So I'm making some good progress on that. I'm making some good progress on that. And just kind of working on the little vampire right there. So that got a couple hundred stitches. These are on paper, and I'm not really counting stitches very well. I shouldn't say exactly. I'm making sure that there's at least 100 stitches. If I need to finish off a thread, sometimes I'll go to 120, whatever the case may be, but they're getting at least 100 stitches. I know that this will not take 1,000 stitches to get finished. There's a couple motifs down here, but really not that much. So it'll be good to get that done. I've done a really good job keeping up with these historically, so it'll feel good to get that done and then be caught up with all of those. The next one that I need to talk about is the piece sampler. Again, I will show you what it looked like, what it's going to look like when it's done, and what it looks like last time you saw it. This is the one on that fabric that was so gross. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. If that's not abundantly clear to you at this point, I don't know what is. Like, I know it's the mirror thing. I will get there. I promise you, I will get there. Okay. All right. So what I did, this got called twice, and I just kind of worked on this tree over here. Even though the fabric is not nearly as gross anymore as it was, it is still not my favorite thing to stitch on. I thought, I think I doomed myself last time when I said, oh, I don't like stitching on this. I groaned whenever this was called because this was called 2 times and then it was called again today. I have not done the stitching on it yet. There, got a little whatever on there. So yeah, and although the fabric is not super gross anymore, which is nice, and the stitches, the threads are better to stitch on. It is still very rough. It is still very primitive. But the thing that really drives me the most crazy about this is that when I started it, okay, I'll back up a little bit. Whenever I start something that's on an even weave, I always make sure I start the bottom of my first stitch on a vertical thread. So the vertical thread going up instead of the horizontal thread. I was taught to do that years ago. I find it really helpful. I've heard that it helps make your stitches stronger. I am not 100% sure that's the case, but it sure doesn't hurt. But what it does for me that I really appreciate is that it kind of helps me count. So if I get one thread off or something, I always know I'm a thread off, and it kind of helps me stay on track. For some reason, when I started this project on this weird fabric, I did not start it on a vertical thread. So it is absolutely backwards from everything I work on. So all of the things that I do to kind of keep myself on track, I'm not able to do on there. And I cannot tell you how many times I look at it and I was just like, oh crap, I'm on a different thread. I'm off a thread someplace. I need to rip out and do it again. So yeah, it's there. It's still going. So, okay. The next one that was called was Princess and the Pea by Hickory Hollow. Not sure I said very much about those other ones. So I know it's in the last video. I'm not going to go back and tell you guys that again. Okay. So Princess and the Pea from Hickory Hollow. This is my second oldest WIP. And it got called one day. And what I did, okay, so I'm sure I'm going to put up here. Oh, good Lord. It's just so big. And it's crooked. And where do I put it? And yeah. Okay. There you go. Maybe. I could have it in front of my face. That's fine. Put up what it was supposed to look like, whatever it was last time you saw it. And again, I'm working on the window. I did realize while I was doing this bottom part of the window that I probably should redo the back stitching on the top of that top quilt. But yeah, that's something to look at another day. I'm just trying to focus on the window, and then we'll figure out where we're going from there. So that got at least 100 stitches in it, and that feels good to get that done. I am going to be fighting with this the entire video, so bear with me. Just bear with me. Okay, so Princess and the Pea, got a little progress on that. And then the last piece that was called was Lori Holt's Quilted Witch. And this is the one that I said is called all the time, and it was only called once, which is super surprising. So this is what it will look like when it's done. This is what it looked like last time you saw it. And wrong side. It's long. I just continued. Maybe I do this. That might, I don't know. Wow. I just continue to work on the skirt. And what I'm doing with this when it comes up, Lord, my link. When it comes up, I just I'm trying to work from the top down, and then I'm also trying to fill in. So I pick a color. Each of these little squares on the skirt are 7 by 7. So I know if I get 2 complete squares done, I'm very close to 100 stitches. But none of the squares have a single color in them. So I just kind of guess. I take one color and I try to fill it in wherever I can, take it down as far as I can without doing some heroic counting. And then if I don't think I'm at 100 stitches at that point, I take another color and I do the same. So I think I was trying to finish off some of the dark red and did some of the light orange also last time. So that's what I did on that. Okay. Next thing I want to move into, I guess, are my WIPs, my works in progress, my ones that are not temperature stitching. There are 15 of them. No, there's 14 of those, 15 including the world's oldest WIP that I showed you last time. Yeah, so that's 25 altogether. I don't think that's that bad, is it? It's that bad. Anyway, I am going to reset, pause, and come right back. Okay, so I just did the silliest thing in the entire world, and I kind of can't believe I did this. I think I paused to kind of reset, and then I decided I didn't want to reset. I wasn't going to put stuff on boards. I guess reset, I don't know. I decided I didn't want to put stuff on boards. And I think I stopped. I forgot to start it recording again. So I just finished talking about all sorts of stuff to myself in my dining room, thinking I was recording, and I wasn't. So yeah, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll do it all over again. I'll do it all over again. It's new to you. Okay. So WIPs, we are talking about WIPs. I am the first several of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 of these are ones that I started back in the 90s, early to late 90s. I'm not exactly sure of the time. And then everything after that are things that I probably started in the last 2 years. So might as well just jump in for the second time. So this first one is going to look like this. When it is done, that is not a great picture because it is pretty small. That's the pillows that are on that picture. Um, I do not trust my photography skills, so I usually try to find photos of things online because they are more clear and probably better pictures than I could take. But this one was incredibly hard to find. I could find one picture of it and it was really, really super blurry. So I ended up just having to take a picture of it myself. So this, I just call it beautiful grains because I don't know what else to call it. It is something that Karen put out. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Caron, Karen, I don't know, put out several years ago. It had a pack of 11 different threads that they make, from metallics to overdyes to these gauzy ribbons, lots of different things, 11 different threads. So there's water lilies, water flowers, snow. I forget everything that is in there, but 11 different threads. And they came all in a pack with this pattern. And they don't tell you exactly what to use where. They kind of lay out the pillow for you and they give you several different options for what to stitch in those areas and then have suggested threads for that. So this is something I started. Clearly, I did not get very far. It is not super large, but it is definitely advanced. I think it says on here like skill level advanced, and they are not kidding. There is a lot of very challenging things to do on this piece, but it will be beautiful when it's done. And I just love all of the threads. Just, it makes me happy just to look at all of them in this wonderful little package. In fact, I almost brought them here to show to you guys, but it kind of seemed like it was bragging a little bit. So I didn't want to do that. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to try to bring that up. So that is one of the overdyes. Silks with some metallics over the top of it. And then that green things are these little specialty stitches with this ribbon that is very gauzy. Those are definitely not showing up very well, but I would love to get this finished. This is like I said, it makes me happy just to look at the threads, but it is also very advanced and it has been quite a long time since I did anything that advanced. So I'm a little bit intimidated by it, honestly. I think hopefully I will get there someday. Um, but I would love to get it finished and I would love to work on it. I just need to maybe develop that confidence again now that I am stitching again regularly. The second one that I want to show you will look like this when it is all done. I don't really know what to call it other than the Drawn Thread English Bow Tie Specialty Stitches 3, which makes me think there might be a Drawn Thread English Bow Tie Specialty Stitches 1 and 2. I don't know. This one, I don't have the pattern for. This is one of those reasons that I'm not working on it. The pattern got destroyed in the flood in the basement, but I do still have the piece. Now, I am not entirely sure. There is one person who looks like they're selling the pattern online. They said that it said something about it coming out of a magazine. And it might be a magazine that I still might have. I might just need to look through all my magazines to see if I do have it. And if not, I need to look at getting it in. But I am very close to done with this. It is on a mystery linen. I know it is a very high count. I think mostly what I have to finish is this stuff down here. And honestly, with a good picture of it, I am far enough along because those stitches kind of repeat just in different colors. I think I probably could finish it even without a pattern, but I'm going to see what I can do. Again, super pretty, lots of fancy stitches, very small stitches, almost done. It would be a shame really not to finish it at this point. I've got lots of hanging threads, so pardon those. But yeah, so that, what did we say? Drawn thread, and it's not really drawn thread at all, so that kind of confuses me. Drawn thread English bow tie specialty stitches 3. The only reason I know that is because I took a photo of it and did a Google image search, and that's what came up. So um, still trying to figure out the pattern so I can finish that and get that moved forward a little bit. The third one to talk about is drawn thread. It's Hardinger. It's a drawn thread sampler by Linda Driscoll. Again, it's on mystery linen. And floss just for Hardinger. I think there's some pearl cotton and some other things there just in that off-white. This is one that was in the flood. You can kind of see some stains up on top there that are not coming out. And there's one in that next box. Pardon my little threads here and there. One in that next box that I think is going to come out by the time I cut the threads. So I don't know. I don't know whether I'm finishing this or not, or if I'm just going to find a different piece of linen. The stuff at the top isn't going to show when it is finished and framed. I'm sorry, it'll look like this when it's done. This stuff, it's not going to show when it's finished and framed, but I don't know. I'm not so far along on it that it might, I mean, it might be worthwhile just to start it on a different piece of linen. So that's kind of in limbo for now as I try to decide what I want to do with it later. The next one is called the Elizabeth Burkham sampler. It is from that book that I showed you last time, the Sampler and Antique Needlework book. It is again on some mystery linen. I have absolutely no idea. It is one of those found fabrics from either a thrift store or an estate sale or something. And it's all done in one color. I think it's DMC 3823, but I'm not exactly sure. So I started this and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. Lots and lots of alphabets. Got probably to about this point where we're over one. And I started wondering if I was going to have enough room to finish it. I don't think I counted and planned on the fabric very well. So I did this next alphabet and this row at the bottom, pardon my hanging stitches, and discovered that no, I do not have room to finish it. There is a whole saying that goes down here on this sampler, and I really, even with a very small margin, I do not think I'll have room to put that entire thing there. And this kind of pathetic that this isn't done because it is mostly done. I still need to do the lowercase alphabet, of course, and then figure out what I need to do with the bottom. I started this for my sister many years ago. Like I mentioned before, I have three sisters and they all cross stitch, sometimes more than others, just like me, but they all cross stitch, and my mom cross stitches also. And so my mom had organized this cross stitch exchange for us at some point, where she kind of had a schedule, and each year we would make a cross stitch piece for one of our sisters. And so then by the end, we would have a piece from all of our sisters and our moms. Sorry, I have a very loud panting going on behind me, so I'm sorry if you can hear that. So I was doing pretty good until I hit this piece, and I had hit this little problem at the end. This was the piece I was doing for my sister, who is directly under me age-wise, if I'm going oldest to youngest. And I just kind of got stuck, and I wasn't sure what to do with it. So clearly I never finished it. I'm a little bit ashamed to say I'm the only one of my sisters and my mom who did not finish their pieces. So I have lovely cross-stitch pieces from all my sisters and my mom that are all framed and beautiful and hanging on my wall. And I have two sisters who never received theirs. So these are things that I would absolutely like to finish. The more I look at this, I'm not sure if people didn't know the pattern, if they would really know that there was something missing on the bottom there. Even if I just did something minor on the bottom there, I think it would be okay. Yeah, I think it would be fine. So I think I just need to finish it and get it off, and then get the one done for my other sister. So I will stop feeling guilty about something that I felt guilty about for a long time. So the other interesting thing about this is, if you look, there are little brown lines here and here. This marks the top and this marks the right hand side. When I was going through my totes, I don't know, when I was going through my totes, I looked at what I had done there and I totally forgot. I totally forgot about that. So somebody had told me at one point that that was a good thing to do. Someone taught me to do that, to either like go down the right-hand side, sometimes go down the middle, go down the top with just a piece of thread, like regular sewing thread, just with a running stitch, like every 2 stitches, something like that. Just taking the time to do that. And it really helps keep you oriented. And so you know where the center is. And so if you get off, it's really easy to find it again. And it is a great idea. You'll see it on a couple of these pieces that I'm going to show you. I totally forgot that I even did it. So I do think it's a great idea. And I might start doing that again. I don't know. One of the funny things is when I was going through the tote, I found this spool of brown thread, like Clark and Coates, Coates and Clark, something like that, brown thread. And I remember thinking, what in the world is this doing in here? Like, I'm not going to use this. Why is this here? Well, it was to do this. So I don't know whether I still have it. I mean, but I guess I don't have to use the exact same spool all the time. But anyway, it really, the more I looked at it, was a really good idea. So Elizabeth Burkham sampler from that book. Okay, we're almost done with the old ones. This next one, I actually I'm kind of have a board behind it, so that will hopefully let you see it a little bit better. This is the October Sky Sampler by Elizabeth Foster. It is again on a mystery linen. I have no idea. I have no idea how I found this linen back in the 90s because it was almost impossible to find things of different colors, and it is a beautiful color. It is done on this mystery linen and kind of this almost, I don't know, this blue. It's kind of a almost colonial blue. I don't know. I don't know what to call it. Um, it is all DMC with one overdyed silk. I think I have stitched all the silk pieces on there. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. I think I've stitched all the silk pieces and I'm really pretty close to done. I do not have the beads and the charms anymore. Those were all victim to the floods. So I would have to go shopping to do those again. So like I said, very close to being done. Still have hanging threads here. My mailman is coming. There's going to be a big loud thunk here in just a sec. So there we go. Maybe not that bad. It is beautiful, a lot of specialty stitches, a little bit intimidated by it, honestly, but this is one that I would very much like to see done soon also. So this one and that Elizabeth Burkham sampler, Burkham is are probably going to hit temperature stitching pretty soon. I mean, I'll be able to go in and find those maybe. The beads will be easy. The charms may not, but I could find things to substitute in for those. So, yeah, so the last thing from back in the early mid 90s that I have to show you is a piece that I would have been heartbroken if it would have been destroyed. I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And part of the reason I didn't go through the totes sooner is because I was so afraid that this got destroyed somehow. But when I opened it up, it was still in this scroll frame. It was not really damaged in any way. So that was a very good thing. So this is what it will look like when it's done. It is called the Pineapple Bell Pull. It was in the first 4 issues of Fine Lines magazine. I am not sure if Fine Lines even exists anymore or how long it existed for. It was a very thin little periodical, but it had beautiful stuff in it. So I had started this bell pull, and I think I'm through almost the third thing. It is on this pale green linen, which I am, again, not sure how I located there, and it is done in silks. Here, this way. Done in silks. And there's lots of specialty stitches. You'll see my little brown lines on here also. And let's see, I don't know, see if you can see those a little bit better. Okay, start at the top, my weird black brown lines, and just a lot of different silks. I still have all the threads, which was very good too. Um, this little person, we'll keep going. It's a bell pull, so it's long. Um, we're talking about plantations. I'm not sure that's very politically correct. Um, but yeah, and so I think that was through about the third part, maybe not the whole third thing. So close, getting close to done on it. Again, so much work into this with a lot of over one, a lot of specialty stitches. And I'm so glad it is still there. Still have hanging threads, clearly still have some stuff to do. This probably won't come out super soon to be finished, but um, I do still have all the magazines. I still have the silks, so it's very possible. And it's definitely relatively high on the list to get to, but something I need to get to. Okay, so now we're looking at the new stuff here. Um, and I am looking up to make sure I'm recording again. I heard my husband come home and he was giving the dog some bones, and now I can hear them chewing and drinking out of the bowl. So I hope you can't hear that. If you do, I don't know. Can't control that too much. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you is the Blackwork sampler by the Steady Thread. I can't really show you what it is supposed to look like because she has lots of different border options for us. When you're doing it, it's a free stitch along and it's absolutely amazing. Lots of different border options for us and different ways to put in the monthly motifs. Like Jason X Stitches is doing this beautiful vine motif border with leaves and then flowers, which is absolutely gorgeous. So I started this. This is on 14 count fiber on a whim, 14 count Ada by Fiber on a Whim, Cafe Aulait. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that because I'll Mademoiselle it or something and be embarrassed. But so yeah, Fiber on a Whim, 14 count. That colorway, the stitches on it are in Black Coffee by Classic Colorworks. So I found this stitch along late. I think I've been going for like 13 weeks or something like that. And the motifs each week are not that big. So really it would not be much to keep up on if you were keeping up on it. And it took me a little while after I found it to decide um, what I wanted to do it on and what thread and border and all of that good stuff. And I decided the border and I started on this fabric. And I started initially with two threads, excuse me, with two threads of that Black Coffee. I mean, I know Blackwork is originally done with one thread, traditionally done with one thread and traditionally in black. And I know those are not hard and fast rules anymore, but um, I wanted to make sure the stitches showed up. So showed up well, even from a distance. So I started with two threads and I got a far amount done. And then I realized that I thought it looked too bulky, especially in like places like this, because this is all filled in with Blackwork and all of the motifs. I just thought I wasn't going to get the definition in the motifs that I wanted. So I took all of that out and did this much with just the one thread. And this is one thread. And I got about this far, and then I wasn't sure I I wasn't sure I liked the one thread. I wasn't sure that you were going to be able to see this well enough with the one thread. So I just kind of stopped because I didn't want to do any more stitching without knowing ultimately what I was going to do with it. So it has kind of sat and languished for way too long. And I really, really love it. And every time someone posts it online, I am really jealous and wish that I would have gotten a little bit further. So Kenny Stitches, YouTuber, I will link him below. He is hosting an abandoned salsal, So an abandoned stitch along that starts on August 1st. And so I think this is going to be my project for that. I think I'm going to utilize that. It just runs the month of August, and I don't think I'll get entirely caught up in the month, but I do hope to make some good progress on this. So I will link that below and link Kenny below. If you guys don't watch Kenny, again, absolutely amazing. He is a prolific stitcher. His WIP parade, his last WIP parade took him 3 videos to get through because there was so much. I don't know how he remembers the thread counts and everything of all of those WIPs, but it is just absolutely amazing to watch. And he's a fantastic human being. So lots of good stuff there. So anyway, I think I'm doing this for that abandoned stitch along to try to make some good progress on that. So that is the first of my more recent WIPs. This second will look like this when it is done. It is Daffodil Drive by Stitching with the Housewives. This is part of their Blooming Roots series. That is a monthly series. They have 12 of them. This is 5 or 6. I have to look back and think. I'm not really sure. I've done all of them up to this point, and the last one, the 12th one, just came out within the last few weeks. So all of them have a house on them and then flowers that are like seasonally appropriate and that little sign that go with them. When I first ran across Stitching with the Housewives, I looked at their stuff and I thought, hey, so that's cute, but I'm just not really sure it's my style. I'm not really sure it's something I'd enjoy stitching. And then I decided there was a piece that came out and I liked it and I decided I wanted to stitch it. And it was so much fun. And the results were so much better than I thought that they were going to be. And they have so many super cute decorations for like the holidays and things. So absolutely worth checking out. With this series, the houses go so quick for me. And I think it's because I can start them and it's almost mindless stitching. I mean, there are some color changes and some things, but you can do it without looking at the chart all the time. But then when I get to the flowers, it's an entirely different situation. I need to kind of pay attention a little bit more. So I kind of get stuck on the flowers. I was doing a really good job keeping up with these until I wasn't. And I think it's the one directly before this that I kind of started falling behind a little bit, and then it's been really hard to get caught back up. I don't think I'll put this in temperature stitching ever because I kind of want to be working on one of them all the time and kind of plan that into my stitching every week and every month to set goals to kind of get those all done. I do have the finishing piece. There's a custom finishing piece that you can put it all into that I haven't painted or done anything with yet because, as I said last time, I'm complete rubbish on finishing projects, at least fully finishing projects, at least. So Daffodil Drive by Stitching with the Housewives. That's on 28 count Monaco with all the called for classic color works. Okay. The next one I want to show you, I'm sure most of you guys have seen before. It is Lola Crow's Extraordinary Birds Stitch Along. This is on 32 count Lugana by Zweigart in the Stormy Night colorway with all the called for DMCs. Oops, that's not going to work. Okay. So I had not before this stitched. Oh, this is what it will look like when it's done. Well, it's a mystery. So where we are so far, I had not stitched any Lola Crow before this. And I have to say, I am completely obsessed. I do not know how she gets so much detail with so few stitches, really. I'm not. Now we are on a rest week right now. This peacock is the feature for this week, and I'm not done with it, as you can see, but I still have like another, gosh, almost full week to finish that. So I'll work on getting that finished. But it has been so much fun to work on every week, and I've managed really to keep up with it for the most part. There are 5 more features to be released, and you can kind of see sort of where some of them might be, but she always seems to surprise me with what comes out and where, which makes it sort of extra fun. There's not a ton of stitching to do every week. for this. I mean, a fair amount, but not a ton. So it is very doable to keep up on it. Um, and I'm really looking forward to getting it done. And she has so many amazing stitch alongs from the past that I think I will probably go back and look and do some of those as well. I'm not a bird person, but my gosh, this is fun to stitch, and it is so cute and looks so good. Um, I can't imagine not doing more when it's done. So that extraordinary birds. Okay, the next one. Um, I know you guys have probably seen this before also. I think I mentioned at the last video that I was pretty sure I had some fancy ladies that got destroyed in the flood, and whether it was just the patterns or whips or kits, or I don't know what it was. I know I had some, and when I went through everything, I couldn't find them. Um, and I can't even remember exactly what they were. I really think I had some. So when I realized that, I knew I wanted to do a fancy lady and start a fancy lady. So I started looking at all these different options. And when I ran across Olivia the Forest Witch by Bella Filipina, I just absolutely fell in love with it. Absolutely everything about it. The fabric that it was on was amazing. And so I had to get that fabric. And it's 28 count linen by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. Fall foliage is the color, and look how beautiful that is. That is just oh, so, so, so pretty. I think I put a picture up there. I should have. Um, so fabric is amazing. She is beautiful. I love the setting. I love absolutely everything about it. And I'm showing you the back, I think. No? Yes. Yes. That's a little bit embarrassing. Okay, there we go. That's the front. Clearly my backs aren't too bad if I can't tell the difference. So I have this little bitty pathetic start on it. But when I got it and got everything, I'm just using the called for DMCs, specialty floss, beads and treasures that come with it. And there's a fair amount of that on there. When I started it, oh, I just couldn't wait to start it. I just absolutely could not wait to start it. And so I got this little start and then kind of had to put it away to try to keep up on some other things. So this is one of those things that I really want to make some progress on, that I need to try to schedule in to my week and my month to get some some good progress on this. Because it is beautiful. Cannot wait to get it done. I'm definitely doing Bellatrix after I'm finished with this because I love her also. But you know, I don't know. Give me a witch and I'm sold. Anything witchy and I'm there and super happy to be stitching that. So, um, Olivia the Forest Witch by Bella Filipina. Absolutely lovely piece. Let's see. Okay. I know you will not have seen the next one because it is a custom chart and nobody has it but me. So several months ago, now I want to say it was probably March of this year, I ran across this picture online. I don't know how it came up, why it came up. It's an AI generated picture of poppies, supposedly in the style of Klimt, although I'm not exactly sure that translates incredibly well. And because it's AI generated, I did not find an artist on it at all. I'm sure somebody is responsible for it and potentially is making money off of it, because I could go buy posters of it different places. And I also know from working with AI that this doesn't just come out. You can't just like type that in, that prompt, and end up with something like this. So somebody I know put some work into this, a fair amount of work into this, but I searched and searched and could not find an artist. But I found it, screenshotted it. I have a ridiculous number of screenshots on my phone that I'll probably never do anything with, but just for reference. I found it, screenshotted it, just because I loved it. It was so bright. It just made me happy when I looked at it. And I thought, I'm too old really to like order a poster to put on my wall. That just didn't seem maybe like something I wanted to do. But I was just haunted by this picture and I kept on thinking about it. And the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I knew I wanted it on my wall. And I had not done full coverage at all. I am a full coverage newbie. I would see people doing their full coverage pieces, and I think, oh my God, how are they committing to that? That's crazy. These crazy big pieces with like tens and twenties and hundreds and thousands of stitches, if not millions of stitches, in these amazing, incredible pieces. It just seemed like such a huge commitment. And I was just in awe of it a little bit. But when I found this piece, knew I wanted it on my wall, I decided I really wanted it on my wall with cross stitch. So I had Michelle at Heaven and Earth Designs do a custom chart for me with this piece. She was absolutely wonderful to work with. Like we had to do a little bit of work to get it in a high enough quality so it would translate into a cross stitch chart well. And but she did it. She got the piece all made up for me, and they were even lovely enough to kit it up for me. And yeah, so my first full coverage started. So this is on 25 count gridded easy stitch with all the called for DMCs. Like I said, it's a custom chart. Now, what is funny about this is, like I said, I had not done full coverage. And I read the instructions enough to see two threads. And so I just assumed since it was 25 count, two threads is going to be over two threads of floss over two threads and the fabric. I just assumed it was going to be 2/2. And I did about 2,000 stitches. And I wasn't loving the coverage on it. I was just like, okay, so this is going a lot more quickly than I thought it was going to. But I'm not loving, I can see too much through the fabric. So I wasn't really, so I kind of put it down and I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with it at that point. Whether I was going to take it out, continue, I really wasn't sure. And then I really listened to floss tubers who were talking about full coverage, and they said 2/1 or 1/1. And I thought, am I supposed to be doing this over one? Like, surely not. That is a 25 count. Those stitches are going to be tiny, absolutely tiny if it is over one. And I actually went through and paid attention to the chart and learned, yes, indeed, it should be over one. So I ripped out about 2,000 stitches and started again. Um, so this is how far I've got from starting again. And if you have not done full coverage before, there's a little bit of a learning curve there. I saw people talk about doing diagonals and doing different things like that. But I thought I didn't need to do that. I thought, okay, I will just I have like this weird bra on and it's showing, so sorry. I thought, I can just do cross country. I just won't do very far. I definitely won't do the whole piece in one color, and I'll just work that way. That was my plan. But I discovered quickly that was a really bad idea because it was really, really, really super easy to get off by a thread, off by a stitch. And if you're doing over one, it's so hard to take out. So I have had to rip out things several times in here. And clearly, if you look at this, I'm using gridded fabric and don't know where to start on gridded fabric because I can't even use it like you're supposed to with where I started. And so I'm in the process of trying to diagonalize this a little bit. And I think that'll be very helpful because what I also learned when I was doing it is like there is a lot of the same color. I mean, they're like, I think it's 939. Oh my gosh, there's huge, huge amounts of that in this piece. And I was ending up with like these little teeny spaces that needed like 3 or 4 stitches and different colors in them. And two 2/1 on 25 count is very, very thick. It's very dense. It's kind of hard to even get the needle through there sometimes. And when you're looking at little small, like dots of stitches, and there's a fair amount of confetti in it, it's really hard to make those stitches in there, really hard to get in there sometimes. So I know it'll be easier if I diagonalize it. So I'm in the process of trying to do that. But I have to say, it is so much fun. And I love seeing the little bit of the picture come out and I know I will love working on this piece. I know it will take me years, but I know I will love working on this piece and I will love it when it is done. Um, but it has been a little bit of a learning curve. I think, hopefully, I have done what I need to do to figure out how to do full coverage. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay, and some from there, I just jumped absolutely straight into full coverage. Um, so I was watching again Stewart and Stitches. Stewart's in Stitches. He Heaven and Earth Designs was having a sale, and he mentioned this piece that he was thinking about starting. And I had not heard of it before. Being brand new to full coverage, I really had not heard of it. And so I went to go look it up after he commented on it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And it's been around for a long time, and a lot of people have stitched it. A lot of people have started it. I'm not sure how many have finished it. But I just thought it was magical and amazing and decided I really wanted to do it. So it is Treasure Hunt Bookshelf by Heaven and Earth Designs. And I did go supersized with max color when I did it, because why not just jump right in? Uh, yeah. So when, so he mentioned it. I decided I wanted to do it. At first, I was like, oh, I'll just buy the chart. I'll buy the chart. And then I've got other things going. I'm not going to start it right away. I just want to have the chart. So when I'm ready to start it, I can start it. So that pretty quickly turned into, well, they're having this sale and I can get some fabric for it. So I'll just pick up the fabric for it while it's on sale. And I knew I wanted to go with a little bit lower of a count because I do like the coverage that the two threads gives me, but I don't want it to be so hard like it was in the 25. So I decided to go with a 20, and I bought a huge piece of fabric for it. The 20 count easy grid. And this is actually Ada. I didn't realize it was Ada when I ordered it, but it's full coverage and I really don't care. And so I was not going to start it. I was just like, no, I'm not starting it. I have enough other things to do. But then there's like 239 colors, I think, in there. And some of the colors you need like 17 skeins of, sometimes you need 5. I mean, it's a very big piece. So I don't know what to do with my stuff. So then I decided I was going to start sourcing the DMC. And I'm kind of cheap, I'm kind of thrifty sometimes. And I wanted to get the DMC for the least amount that I could possibly spend on the DMC and still not support stores that I don't agree with the values of. So, yeah, so I was outsourcing, trying to get this DMC. And at first I was like, oh, I'll just do 10 colors at a time. And, there's a lot. So I just need to start. I just need to start getting them. And that stopped very quickly. And I just manically searched all over the place for all of these skeins of DMC that I needed. They all came in. And when they came in, I started carting them up. Because, there was a lot to cart and I just needed to get them carted. Telling myself all along that I was not going to put stitches in it when I got done. Well, as soon as I was done with the last of the 239 colors, I started putting stitches in it. I was doing much better on my diagonals here right from the get-go. It has been incredibly helpful in using the parking method on both of these, which I've never really done a lot of before. But and I know it's just like the littlest, saddest start to this huge piece, but it still makes me incredibly happy whenever I look at it. And pretty soon I'm going to start getting a picture there, and that'll be a really good thing. So really happy with those. Okay, so the last two that I have to show you are actually new starts since I recorded last time. I mentioned there was a couple of stitch alongs that I was starting. And these are those. So the first one is Spooky Frights Stitch Along by Luminous Fiber Arts. I love so many of her Halloween pieces. This was almost impossible for me to say no to. I am doing it on 32 count Belfast linen by Forbidden Fiber Company in Mothwing. And I am just absolutely in love with this fabric. Absolutely. I'm so glad it's a big piece. So there's room on there for me to do other things. How beautiful it is does not come across on camera nearly enough, but it is absolutely beautiful. So I'm doing it on that mothwing fabric with the called for Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works, and DMC. There's some of all of it in there. And I don't think I'm ruining this for anybody because this stuff all came out on Monday. The last clue came out on Monday and it is now Saturday. So anyone who is doing it has probably seen it already. So I don't think I'm ruining it for anyone, and not that many people watch me anyway. But so this is what we have so far. And this is my my stitch along progress so far. So how cute is that moon and those cats? They are just absolutely adorable. I clearly did all the frame first, so all that I have to do is the clues when they release. But and you can kind of see how cool this fabric is. Oh, so amazing. So amazing. So yeah, I have had so much fun stitching this so far. I am super happy, super excited for the rest of the clues to come out. And there's 4 more. So I will be able to enjoy it for a while, and they come out once a week. So there we go. And a nice big piece of fabric. This is like a quarter. No, that's half of it. So I can definitely do more with it. So that is my next to last WIP. And then the last WIP is that up on a rooftop stitch along by Fat Quarter Shop. Their seasonal free one that they do every year. I said I always tend to do these because they're quick and stitch and fun, quick to stitch, and they're fun and they're free. So I'm doing this on 25 count black Linda cloth with the called for Classic Colorworks. This has just such a small amount of stitching really every week. Now I think the upcoming clue is going to have a little bit more there's 3 more releases, I think. And the last one is a border around it. So I think the next clue might have a little bit more stitching, but it's still not too bad. It goes so quick and they're cute and good holiday decorations. So again, up on the rooftop, stitch along, there's a quilt along that goes along with it by Fat Quarter Shop. So, and that is the end of my WIPs. So all of those, along with the world's oldest WIP that I showed you guys last time, is 25. So I don't think that's all that bad. I hope that's not all that bad. I'm pretty sure that's not all that bad. I'm telling myself it's not that bad. So um, could be worse. Could be worse. All right. So haul is the next thing I have to talk about. So I am really trying not to add to my stash much because I have so much beautiful fabric and so many beautiful patterns that I want to start, but sometimes I can't help myself. And Kenny from Kenny Stitches was doing a destash sale several weeks ago. And like I said, he just has amazing work and amazing fabric. And I was super excited that he was doing a destash sale. So I was doing something, I can't remember what it was. I was doing something that made it impossible for me to get online. He just did a Facebook group, but made it impossible for me to get online when he first started it. And by the time I got out there, like almost everything was sold. And I remember thinking, because the same people like grabbed tons. I remember thinking, leave some for the rest of us, man. That's ridiculous. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I also knew I really didn't need anything. So it was not that bad. So maybe a week or 2 after that, Jennifer Lamana, I hope I'm saying that right, worked with Kenny and posted some things on there that she was getting rid of, just some fabric that she was destashing. And I was able to get on there, not really first when it showed up, but quickly enough so I was able to snatch several beautiful pieces. And I don't know whether she's a YouTuber. That's terrible. I really don't know much about her at all, but I have just enjoyed her so much. And she has the most amazing Maine Coon cats, and she is funny. And I have just through buying these, I have enjoyed talking to her. So there we go. Okay. So The first piece is this pale green piece. It is a 28 count Lucana by Seraphim, October Dust. See if I can, where can I put that where you can see it? I don't know. It is very lightly modeled, if at all. But it is just a really pretty piece. And I love Halloween stitching. And I have so many Halloween patterns that I know I have things that I could put on this. Um, just so pretty, soft, easily used with some patterns that I already have that I don't have fabric for. The next piece is not a big piece, but boy, is it pretty. It is 28 count even weave by Mystic Fabrics. It's called Witch's Brew. Like I said, it's not a very big piece, but oh my gosh, is it pretty? Look at that fabric. Whew. Like I said, Halloween, I can see Halloween on there so easily. And I know exactly what I'm putting on this. Absolutely exactly what I'm doing with it. And it's just the perfect size for it. So that was super easy to pick up. Like I said, not a huge piece, but there's a lot of bang right there on that fabric. Okay, the third piece is 28 count Joblin by Be Stitch Me in the colorway Raven. Just an absolutely, and it is a lot more subtle than it's kind of showing up on the screen here, but like nicely modeled kind of lavender purple. You know, I really had these all nicely ironed before I thought I was recording and wasn't recording and put them all in piles. So now they're all wrinkly for you, but there, that piece, I got that. And really the thing that I'm super excited to get is this last piece. And this is 28 count Monaco by Dying for Cross Stitch Pansy Petal Dark. And this is a huge piece of fabric. And it packs a punch. It really does. I saw that and I went, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I have no idea what I'm doing on it. And I think it might end up being a fancy lady. I have no idea what I'm doing on it, but boy, is it pretty and boy, is it big. This is halved over and there was another whole half to this because Jennifer has something amazing she is doing on the other side of that. So again, do not know what I'm using this for yet, but I'm super happy to have it and can't wait to get stitching on it. The other things that came in the mail were the supplies for my round robin. My round robin group is Connection J, or as we call ourselves, the Night Owls. And we are going to, if I was knitting, it would be a cast on. So it is going to be a start. I don't know, a new start. We'd like to kind of start together. So we're trying to find a time that will work for everybody. And we're kind of looking at tomorrow or Monday, early next week to do that. So the piece that I decided I am doing for the round robin is Winter Stars, a seasonal celebration by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'll put a picture of that up there. Although I love it on the dark with the white, I absolutely adore it. I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I decided to do it on Cream and Sugar by Fiber on a Whim. I'm doing 36 count linen for that. And for the floss, I am using Mistletoe by Cottage Garden Threads. So here is a picture, and I'm sorry I didn't iron the fabric or anything, just to kind of give you guys an idea. That is a really aggressively variegated floss, but I love it, and I love the idea of it on something very simple and neutral. Yeah, so I'm excited, and I'm sorry if anybody cannot find mistletoe. I think I bought all the mistletoe that was out there for this round robin, but I'm excited to get stitching on that. I have seen the projects of two of the other three participants and am in love with all of them. So super excited about all of that. All right, so plans. I have to talk about plans. So plans, of course, to start the round robin. I know I'll be doing that this coming week. I'm really trying hard not to start something, but I think I might end up starting it anyway. Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I've had this pattern for a while and I have really wanted to do it, but I have not let myself do it. I did buy some orange fabric, some of the recommended orange fabric actually that I think the model is stitched on. Sorry, I have really frizzy hair because I didn't straighten it, so it's kind of driving me crazy. So I have like this beautiful orange fabric to go on it. And Adelaide Stitches, another floss tuber who I will link below. She's so fun to watch. She's over in Australia. And again, super fun, beautiful stitches. Was doing a birthday start on the 22nd with an orange fabric stitch along. And this is one of the pieces that she was starting. And I knew I had the pattern and I knew I had the fabric. And I am really, really tempted to start it. And I haven't let myself cast on. She cast on two things on the 22nd on orange fabric. I have really been tempted to start it. And I even went out and made sure I kitted it all up, make sure I have all the floss and everything. So I don't know who I'm fooling. I'm sure I probably will start it. I'm trying not to let myself start it because um, I have so many beautiful things I want to work on. It feels wrong. I don't know to start it, even though I know I will love it. Other than that, my plans really are to keep my stitch alongs under control, to keep up on all of those. I know the moment the Up on the Rooftops one is over, Fat Quarter Shops, their Autumn Nights one is going to start. It is their autumn seasonal one that is free over the summer. I have everything for that. So I know I will be starting that. I know with the Abandoned Stitches, the Abandoned Sal that I will be starting, that'll be keeping me busy also. And the Up on the Rooftop and the Autumn Nights also have quilt alongs that go along with them that I have been doing. And I'm also doing Moda Blockheads 6, I think. It's been kind of kicking my butt a little bit. Yeah, so I have lots of alongs that I seem to be doing. And I am trying my best to stay on top of them because I know myself and I know the moment I fall behind, I just stop and I give up and it becomes a whip that I have to come back to later. So I'm trying really, really hard to stay on top of all of those. Yeah, so those are really my plans. Uh, the Stitchy Kindness project that I talked about last time, I've had a lot of positive feedback on that, and thank you. I kind of had a couple different sites recommended to me to check out as possible platforms to host it on. So I'm still looking at those and even talking to somebody about the possibility of having a site kind of custom created for it. So we know it will do what I want it to do. So I don't really have a ton on that right now, but I should have more on that in the future. Other than that, my day job is really ramping up here very quickly. Like I shared with you guys last time, I teach and we start mid-August. So I am very quickly having to start looking at putting classes together and prepping things for that because I'm back on contract. Middle of August, not quite the middle of August, back on contract. So that is going to take up a lot of my time, take up a lot of my stitching time. So I'm hopeful I can still stay on top of everything. I do hope to record another one of these longer videos before I am back on contract that has my finished projects and my finished objects and fully finished objects in it. And then we'll be all caught up and then that will be good because then when I do these, all I need to do is really kind of regular updates, other than maybe the occasional WIP parade. I don't know, but really I should be able to make them shorter and quicker. That'll fit my schedule perhaps a little bit better than these long videos. So, and I really don't have a ton of them because, like I said, I am complete rubbish at fully finished objects. And so I've got a lot of finished objects that are sitting around, but have nothing really done with them. So there, yeah. So thank you so much for giving me some time in your day and for sharing your stitchy space with me. I really appreciate it. I love hearing from all of you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. I will try to link everything in the comments, all of the YouTubers I mentioned, and all any links to any projects that I mentioned that I can find that aren't like super old, I will put in there too. And thank you. I will be seeing you soon, and bye for now.